Oh yeah, definitely gonna need this for today's video. Alright, let's get into this. Hi, thank you for joining me for another random nerd rant, where today we're actually going to be talking about Activision, Blizzard, and Bobby fucking Kotick, and how much that guy needs to be replaced at fucking Activision. Alright, before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you guys want to know when I'm putting out more videos, because these are random, and they really are more of like when I feel like there's something that I need to get off my chest and rant to the internet. So make sure that you are subscribed, leave some comments down below, hit the like button to make sure that we can grow this channel even more, and let's go ahead and get into why the fuck Bobby Kotick is still at Activision. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be going over the Wall Street Journal article that kind of outlines everything that's been going on with Activision-Blizzard all the way back from July of earlier this year. Now, there's been a lot of investigations and things going on with Activision-Blizzard that allow it to kind of fly under, I don't know, scummy fucking, terrible things happening to people over there at Activision-Blizzard. And like I said, we're just going to outline a lot of it. This is going to be a longer video. As you can see here, there's a lot to actually go over. I, snippet a lot out of this article because I feel like there's just a lot that still, we need to go over it. This needs to be fully documented. It needs to be out there somewhere. And if you ever so inclined, maybe fucking send this to Bobby Kotick and it'll change his mind, because there are some lot of egregious things that are happening at Activision. So let's start off with what happened initially. Back, I think it was like July of this year, it came out that the, I think it was the DFH, was actually investigating the actual, going on from fucking Activision. It's been going on for like 3 years now, apparently. And come to find out, there's a bunch of sexual harassment, RAPEs, going on over there. And yes, I did spell it out because the fucking algorithm at YouTube doesn't like you when you say that word. But there's just a lot of misdeeds and misconduct going on to women, specifically at Activision Blizzard. And when I say this has been something that's been rampant for some time, they've investigated this over 3 years, gathering a lot of information to then prosecute or charge Activision with some kind of negligence or neglect in these cases of matter. And I feel like there's a lot of precedents that Bobby Kotick should be answering for a lot of things that have happened, because even though he's the CEO, and a lot of CEOs don't have a lot of going-ons with kind of the lower end, management or like employees getting hired or fired or anything like that, I feel like Bobby Kotick has actually have a more hands-on approach than most CEOs, seeing as there is a lot of detailed cases of him actually intervening and keeping the harassers at Activision under the guise of going to counseling and rehabilitation. Fuck you, Bobby Kotick. That's all I have to say right there. And that's just my personal opinion. I think Bobby Kotick is a scumbag piece of shit that needs to go away from Activision, because he's the exact reason why Activision sucks, honestly. Him and all those other executives that are at the top with him need to be cleaned out and added in somebody that actually wants to, I don't know, make games that benefit their fucking customer, rather than pushing out a new Call of Duty every year, hoping that people go and buy it, which I'm happy to say they're down 40% in sales. Thank God, because maybe if they actually fucking start hitting the bottom line of these companies and affecting the things that they should be, then fucking change will actually start happening. Like over the last few months or so, their stock has plummeted quite a bit. It's gone down $10 over the last couple of weeks even. Went from 71, it's bouncing back up today a little bit. It's been going on a higher trend. But with more and more of these articles going out, and shareholders wanting Bobby Kotick to leave, walkouts from fucking employees, and all these other things that have been happening in Activision, I don't imagine it going up for too much longer. Because there's been a very, like you can see, there's a trend downwards, and it all starts with Bobby fucking Kotick. So, Now, what am I talking about? Like, why am I so egregiously upset at Activision right now? Why should it be something that you even care about? Well, let's take a look at the Wall Street Journal article that has happened. Now, I will flash up what I'm reading on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and read off of this as I go along here for you. I have read over it and listened to the article, which is about 18 minutes long. Anyway, so let's go over the article here. A lawyer for a former employee at Sledgehammer Games, an Activision-owned studio, alleged in an email that her client had been RAPED, I don't know why it didn't sound right, in 2016 and 2017 by her male supervisor after being persuaded or pressured to consuming too much alcohol in office at work events. The female employee reported the incidents to Sledgehammer's Human Resources Department and other supervisors, but nothing happened, according to the email, which threatened a lawsuit against the company. Within months of receiving an email, said people familiar with the situation, Activision reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman who had reported one of the incidences to police. Mr. Kotick didn't inform the company's board of directors about the alleged RAPES or the settlements, said people with knowledge of the board. So essentially saying here that in 2016-2017, an email was sent to the company's HR department stating that one of my supervisors pressured me into getting too drunk so he could have his way with me. And what was done about that supervisor? Fucking nothing. Nothing happened, and all that happened was that they reached a fucking out-of-court settlement and nothing came to light until an actual government investigation came and cracked down on Activision. So it's very... I get it. A lot of companies aren't going to share that their employees are being sexually harassed by their supervisors because that doesn't show a good look for their company. But when you absolutely do nothing about it, that makes it even worse because you are then complicit in the sexual harassment in RAPES. So when you are complicit in that thing, that makes you almost just as bad as the accuser. And then you continue to let that accuser be here at Activision and continue to do things that otherwise shouldn't have been done, because this happened not only once, but twice. And then she reported it to the police, didn't press charges. I don't know why, because I would have fucking sued them, pressed charges, taken this to court, made a big fucking deal about it. So that way everybody knew that Activision has a red stain on the record. And they do now, and I'm glad that they do. Either way, let me bring it back in. Let me just take a quick little sippy poo here, and then we'll get back into a few more things about the article. Next up here, let's take a look at what happened with Bobby Kotick when he was subpoenaed by the Securities and Exchange Commission for investigation how the company handled reports of misconduct and disclosed them to the public. The Wall Street Journal reported this back in September, which there's an article that I can link down below going over that if you'd like to read it. What Mr. Kotick knew about the alleged incidents and what he told other employees, the board of directors, and investors is part of that probe. So in that article, it pretty much goes over that Bobby Kotick knew that there were things going on that shouldn't have been going on, and not only that, we'll get into some allegations about Bobby Kotick himself and him actually coming out and admitting to these allegations. So now let's continue here. In addition, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit in July alleging that the company ignored numerous complaints by female employees of harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, citing what is called its frat boy culture. In response, Mr. Kotick drafted an email that he had another executive send to employees under her name that dismiss California's alleged allegations in presenting a distorted and untrue picture of our company, according to the initial documents reviewed by Wall Street Journal. So what that is saying there is that the Department of California's Fair Employment and Housing sued Activision because there was so much rampant harassment, discrimination, and retaliation for speaking up against said harassment and discrimination. And that's not, something that should happen at any company, because companies, when you go to work for a company, you expect it to be a safe work environment that will keep everybody safe, not just the higher ups and the managers and the CEOs or anything, but trickle down all the way to the fucking janitors cleaning the goddamn toilets in the building. Everybody should feel safe when they go to work. They shouldn't feel like they have to avoid a sexual harassment whenever you walk into a building, because I know if I was a lady and I went to work feeling that way, I probably wouldn't work for that company for too much longer. And it goes to show, because there are a lot more men at this company, and just this year they had their first ever head of an actual division, and she quit shortly after, and we'll get into that as well. But let's continue with this article. So, the board of directors was blindsided by the Californians' lawsuit allegations, including that Activision employee killed herself after a photo of her vagina allegedly had circulated at a company party. According to people familiar with the board, directors have questioned Kotick about what he knew and why he hadn't been better informed. These people said this told them any cultural issues were centered at the company's Blizzard entertainment unit, which he said was resolved years earlier, those people said. So the board of directors was asked about this by the Wall Street Journal, and they seem to have been blindsided that California was even investigating Activision at that point in time. And we have cases here of a lady having her private parts taken a picture of and then circulated around a fucking party like it's a goddamn joint, and making people happy that they saw this lady's vagina, to the point that she fucking took her own life. Like, let's just take a second and realize what happened there. A person's life was taken because somebody at fucking Activision violated her privacy to the point of showing her private parts. Now, I don't know if it was me, being a man, even if my private parts get out there, I am going to be very ashamed. It's not because of the size of my pecker, I already know that it's small, but it's more that that's my privacy. That's my right to show people. And if I don't want people to know what my penis looks like, then that should be my right to know whether or not somebody has a picture of my goddamn penis. Now, in this little part, we're going to go over how they've actually grown over the last decade or so. Santa Monica-based Activision is the second largest publicly traded video game company by market capitalism. It employs about 10,000 people, and its hits franchises include Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and World of Warcraft. Under Kotick's leadership, the company's market value has risen to about $54 billion from $14 billion a decade ago. And this is a big contributing factor to why Bobby Kotick is not being ousted directly from the board of directors and not immediately being kicked out of the company, because he has given them billions of dollars over the last decade. And if somebody's giving you billions of dollars, you have to then sit down and really evaluate if that person should be removed from the company or not. Because it's in the company's best interest to continue to make money. And yes, it is in the company's best interest to continue to make money. But if you're always having to fight allegations of rampant sexism or culture being frat boy, then how much of that money are you really going to get to keep? And does that not also make you complicit in those actions if you know about it at this point in time and do not oust the person who is directly responsible for many of these allegations or harassers still being in their place of employment? Now, that really strikes me as odd, because if we're willing to allow this to go on just because somebody made them $40 billion over the last 10 years, then, why even have these things come up then? Because it doesn't seem like anything will actually change, because we have less than 6% of shareholders saying that they want to oust Bobby Kotick. But there is a lot of other things happening with him here, as far as Sony and Microsoft both reevaluating what they are going to do, and we'll get into what their responses were to this whole thing, because that's even extraordinary that another company such as such as PlayStation even, because they have a lot of ties and a lot of partnerships with Activision, with their Call of Duty franchises. And they've even gone to the point that they've torn down Vanguard from their front storefront, and now it's just other games on there. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily something related to these allegations, but it did happen directly after the Wall Street Journal article came out and everybody blew their shit up over Bobby Kotick. Well, that's where I'm going to end this part 1 video. This video has gotten away from me. It's gotten a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I wanted it to be about 15 minutes long, but I've recorded about an hour worth of footage. So that way you guys don't have to sit through me rambling for about an hour. I'm going to break this up into about 3 parts. So this is into part 1. Subscribe if you want to be notified of part 2 and part 3, because we're going to have 3 parts to this particular video set. And I would love to know what you guys think about part 1 down in the comments below. It does help out with the algorithm if you guys are leaving comments and hitting the like button, so I would greatly appreciate if you guys did that. And as always, I've been Tasty, this is Random Nerd Stuff, and have a great fucking gaming night.